Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah wa alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Welcome guys. Today we're going to continue following up from the last video we made about the Logos. So what does this mean, the Logos? You see, after studying these Trinitarian doctrines for more than a year now, I can tell you this is if you want to start a conversation about the Trinity seriously, this is the key into the discussion. You need to understand, what does this term, the Logos, as it was used in John chapter 1 verse 1, which many Trinitarians or Christians like to quote when they want to prove the divinity of Jesus. They love this verse because what does this verse give them? It gives them a definitive proof where it says the Word was God. That's all they wanted to take from that verse. And then later the Word became flesh. So that is saying Jesus was God. So now, what I want to do in this video is ask a question. Is it the Logos in name only or the Logos in reality? I'll tell you what it means to be the Logos in name only and what it means to be the Logos in reality. Okay, so that's what we're going to discuss today. So let's start. The first thing is, what is the meaning of this Logos? Once you know the meaning, then you can begin to see what I'm saying. So normally, this Logos means, the first meaning is just straight up the Word, just like it is used in most Bibles today. It is the Word. Okay, fine. So you have the word. Logos means word. Okay. Then it also means, according to Christian history, or even since it's a Greek word anyway, and the way it was used, and all the ideologies around at that time, and many Christians followed suit. It also means the reason, okay? Word, Logos means word, it means reason, it means understanding, okay? It means wisdom, especially in Christian tradition, and what the early Christians, the evidences they were using to actually prove that this is talking about Jesus. So it also means wisdom. Now, what is common to all these terms that we are using? The word, whether it is word, reason, understanding, power, or wisdom, or what was the last one that I was talking about? All these terms, they seem to be predicates. So it means that when I say the word, it has to be the word of somebody. When I say reason, it has to be reason of who? Whose reason are you talking about? Whose word are you talking about, right? Wisdom. Whose wisdom? Who is wise? We need to ask that question. It seems to be predication of a particular subject. That's what it seems to be. But no problem. Now, this is where the topic comes into play. Is it Logos in name only, or is it Logos in reality? So when I say this Logos, just think about, let's just start. You know, when I say Logos, it seems like you don't know, because it's not your language. So you would think it's something else, but it's actually word. And no one actually says, no one talks about the word like a subject. It's usually, whose word is it, right? Okay. Now, so the word of, remember in the gospel, in that John gospel, John chapter 1 verse 1 says, in the beginning was the word, and the word was with God, and the word was God, right? So the word was with God, and the word was God. So they take it, and then the word became flesh, Jesus. So they say in the beginning was Jesus, and Jesus was with God, and Jesus was God. That's how they interpret it in their heads. So that's what they are saying. Now, no problem. But what I want to show you is this. There's a heresy called Arianism. Now, Arianism, what does Arianism say? The Arians believe in the first one that we just mentioned, the Logos in name only. What does that mean, in name only? They believe, you have and you know another thing about, tell you another thing important about this Logos. Remember in the Old Testament, how did God create? God created by speaking, right? By commanding things into existence. That's how God created, you know. So God said, let there be light, let there be something, and then it is. And even in Islamic tradition, you will find out that we also believe that God says, kun fayakun, be, and it is. So it's a command. Now, that command or that speech or that word listen to this very carefully. The 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 Arians, they believe, you see, God as God has that power. So let's say God has that power to bring things into existence. That is creation, right? God can command anything into existence. Let there be lights, let there be this and that, and all of creation, right? So they believe that is the power of God. So you have God, he has that power, that attribute. Now, so they believe God created everything else, including Jesus. So the Arians, they could even accept that Jesus pre-existed. They could say, yeah, he pre-existed. But you see, even him was created by that command, that word, you see. And I think even in the New Testament, it says all things were made through him, and without him nothing was made. You see, that was the Logos, right? All things were made through him, and without him nothing was made. So what is this? Without him was through him. When I make something through you, it's like it's like a tool. If I say, go and bring me some books I said, I give you an instruction like this. Go to that room and bring me a bucket. Okay? Bring me a bucket and put it here in this room. When I come back, I will check it. So when I come back, I meet the bucket there. And I said, who brought this bucket here? You will say, it was brought by me with my hands. So I used my hands to bring the bucket here. Okay? So it was by you through. Which means did you use? Did you carry it with your hands, or you put it on your head, or did you use some kind of tool to bring it here? You will say, I used my hands. But so it was by you through the means of your hands. You brought the bucket here. But who did it? It is you, right? The tool or the thing you use to achieve that task is your hands. Understand that? Now, so when God creates, it is God that is really creating, and through his attribute. Okay, so God says be, he commands, and then things come into existence. So that is the word of God. Fine. So now the Arians are saying, see, Jesus, or the word, that word in John's gospel, if you interpret it that is that cannot be how will I say this? Since you guys have already equated Jesus with the word, okay, they will say, okay, fine. If you say Jesus is the word, that means it was the word in name only. What does it mean to be the word in name only? It would mean that, you see, even Jesus, even if you call him the word, it's just a word nominally. Even him was created by another word, the word of the Father. So you have the Father who has his own attributes, his own power, his own word, and then he used that word to create the Son. That's what the Arians are saying. Okay, because everything was created or brought into existence by God, the Father, and then he used his own word to create the pre-existent Jesus, who is then called nominally the Word. Do you see how they are explaining this? Now, you'll be like, if you are a Trinitarian right now, you'll be like, no, what are they saying? Let me now give you what is the alternative? I'll show you the alternative. Is that it's not in name only, but in reality. If Jesus is Logos in reality, what would that entail? This is what it would entail. To be Logos in reality, it would mean that, you see, the Father's power, the Father's literal power. So the Father's literal power, the Father's literal word is actually what we are talking about here. So you have the Father. It's like my hands. When I go and pick up the bucket, my hands that I used to bring the bucket, or any tool that I used, that is what it would be to be Logos in reality. It would mean that the Father's attribute, that's what it should be. The Father's attribute. So when I say the word of who? The word of the Father. It's just like, let me give you this final analogy. Okay, just like the one let's just follow the last one. We are talking about a guy that goes to a room to bring a bucket, and he uses his hands to bring the bucket. Okay, imagine I said, That the and okay, let's say that guy. Let me see how I can phrase it so that it will fit this picture perfectly. You see, like the and is not a subject. The and is a means that the particular subject used. So the and cannot be a subject. So the man is the subject. The and is the means or the tool or the attribute used by the man to achieve his task. Imagine we now said the and is the man. The and cannot be the man because the and is a means. So when you say the word is God, it's like saying the and is the man. You see, it seems to be implausible that you will speak like that. No one speaks like that. See, think about yourself even. You have knowledge, you have power. I have knowledge, I have power, right? I cannot say my knowledge is me or my power is me, right? I cannot say that. My power is not something else. My knowledge is not something else. It's not even a thing. It's a quality, it's a description of a particular reality, me. Do you understand? You cannot then give that thing a status of a real entity. Do you understand? So this is where the problem comes when most people don't understand. And in that last video, I quoted for you Athenagoras and Alexander of Alexandria, showing you that they thought about it like that. They said the Son is the word of the Father. Do you understand? They are saying the Son is the word of the Father in reality, not in name. It's not just a nominal, it's the reality. And the power of the Father is the Son. Do you understand? The power, just like my hand. You see, why am I even saying my hand? My power. See, the power of the Father is the Son. Literally, I'll show you the quote from Athenagoras and Alexander of Alexandria, who are very early on. Athenagoras was 2nd century and Alexander of Alexandria was 3rd, 4th century. Okay? So this shows you that these guys, what they were thinking about, and this is what they were charging the Arians with. So Alexander of Alexandria went further to charge the Arians that why would you say that the Father has his own word? The Father does not have his own word. The word of the Father is the Son. Do you understand? He's saying the Arians were saying, look, he was charging the Arians that why would you say this? You are saying that there was a time when the Father didn't have his power, which means that there was the Father, as long as the Father exists and the Father has power. If you say that the Son is not eternal, you are saying that the Father does not have his power, because they believe literally the Father's power is the Son. The Father does not have another power. His power is the Son. The Father does not have another word. The Father's word is the Son. Just like me, I cannot see. I think you should get what I'm trying to say here. And most Christians, I think even most Trinitarians, they would miss this. They would actually be thinking like the Arians, because now that you have made them into 3 persons that can talk to each other, do you believe like they can communicate? Like the Father can communicate with the Son and the Holy Spirit? Like you believe that, right? You believe like there's some kind of love relationship between them, right? Do you understand? Like you guys have made them into real persons such that we can ask you. You guys seem to be, your view is tending more towards the Arians because you guys have lost this understanding of the past where they literally thought that the Father's word is the Son. If you don't understand this and then you start talking about the persons, you will really lose. Like, okay, so for example, what is the relationship between you? Let me show you. Let's end it on this note, guys. Let's end it on this note. The relationship between 2 men is not the same as a relationship between a man and his power and his knowledge and his wisdom. Do you see what I'm saying? When you have 2 men, each one of them has wisdom, has reason, has his word, has power. The 2 men, they have that. But when you have a man and his wisdom and his reason, that kind of relationship is not the same as the relationship of 2 men. Do you see why it will be? It doesn't make any sense. And in the case of 2 men, you have 2 subjects there. In the case of one man and his attributes, you have one man, you have one subject, and those are predicates. Now, the problem is this: why did the early Christians go and start talking like this? Why were they talking like this? Because, see, there's also influence of Neoplatonism, by the way, in the back. But me, I just think we don't even need to do that. We just need to just reject this notion of speaking about God's attributes like they are real persons. This is where they confused everybody, and those that followed them suit, they just went even further away from this. And till today, you still have that split between the West and the East, between the one self-Trinitarians and the three self-Trinitarians. They are not the same. They are not talking about the same thing. They are radically different. This is not just some kind of minor difference. It's radically different. The one you choose is just like choosing between two men and a man and his attributes. That's how different they are. Okay? So I hope after this video you'll be able to understand much more deeply what's going on here. And as a Muslim, we believe God is the subject and he has many qualities and attributes. Those qualities and attributes, they are not some subject, they are predicate, and they cannot be God. Why would you say God's attribute is God? You know, you could actually charge those guys, like, why are you guys talking like this? This seems to be polytheistic when you start speaking like that. If the word is God and is distinct from the one that he was with, then you should have two gods, right? But they are just confusing us. They speak about them like attributes in one place, and then they speak about them as distinct in another place. And if you want to see how complicated it can be, you just go and see Tertullian. Tertullian's view, you just see how they just go about all these things. But me, I calm down sometimes. I don't even want to like talk about arguing too much. Let's just talk about the basics. Where did this all started from? Okay, it started from this word logos, and now you interpret John chapter 1 verse 1. And there's another verse in the Bible, Old Testament, that they always use. That one about Proverbs 8. That one is also used. There's wisdom there, literally. Wisdom became a woman, talking and walking around. But everyone knew it as personification. It's not like God's wisdom literally walks around. Do you see? So I hope you benefit from this video. Let me see what you think in the comment section. See you guys later. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.